So this webinar is going to consider some key practical issues and some points that I really want you to keep in mind. So one of the main things to say, first of all, is that I'm going to have a look in outline at the adverse possession regime for registered land. I'm going to have a look at the statutory framework, what the statement or declaration, statutory declaration should cover, and have a brief think about indemnity insurance, unregistered land and the lenders. But I think the key point to make is that I want to talk to you about the framework relating to registered land. So that is the situation where somebody has been occupying a piece of land that is already registered, as opposed to a piece of land that is unregistered. There are two different regimes, and I obviously talk to you in this session about the land registry's requirements relating to registered land, which are contained in Land Registry Practice Guide 4, and I acknowledge the Crown copyright in the content that I share with you. But please note that if you are thinking about an application for adverse possession of unregistered land, that is a different regime, and that is contained in Land Registry Practice Guide 5. The Land Registry, there's no sort of set wording for an adverse possession application, and what the Land Registry tend to like is for the words of the applicant to be used. It doesn't have to be sort of overly legal. And really what you're doing, frankly, what you're doing with any stat dec or statement of truth is you are really telling the Land Registry the story of what's gone on. So, for example, and you might want to back up the application, you might want photos that you would refer to, and just explanations of how things have happened. So, for example, where land was previously open ground, fencing is strong evidence of factual possession, but is neither indispensable nor conclusive. So it doesn't mean your application will fail if the ground isn't fenced, and it doesn't mean it's an absolute roaring going to be a definite 100% success if it is. But of course, if I just sort of pitch up to a bit of land and I stick a fence around it, not having asked anybody, and I start treating it as my own, well, that's pretty strong evidence that that I've got the intention to possess. But as I say, what's required, and the Land Registry's words are, it's not an intention to own or even an intention to acquire ownership, but an intention to possess. So the applicant doesn't have to try and show that they were acquiring some sort of title to the land. They simply have to show that they intended to physically possess the land. And fencing, as I say, in particular, is a good indicator of that. Or if it's already fenced or whatever, or got a hedge around, it's maintaining the land, for example, cutting any grass, cutting down any hay, cutting the hedges, or looking after a physical structure that might be built on the land. So you're intending to sort of possess, you're intending to, treat it as your own.